Did you think that running in Zone 2 would effortlessly improve your running performance? Well, me too, and that's because it seems like everyone was calling it the holy grail. Train slow, race fast, or run slow to run fast. I thought it would feel like cruising through easy runs while magically getting fitter each week. But after running 5,000 kilometers in Zone 2 between my 45th and 46th birthday, I realized the truth is more complex and way more interesting. So to help make your journey smoother, here are 10 secrets I wish I had known from the beginning. Secret 1. Zone 2 feels too easy until it doesn't. The biggest secret about Zone 2 training, which almost no one talks about, is how it evolves as your fitness grows. In the beginning, I struggled to keep my heart rate down, and Zone 2 felt almost too easy. Like I wasn't doing anything. I had to slow down so much that it was honestly a bit embarrassing. But what I didn't realize is that Zone 2 only feels easy when you're unfit. As I got fitter, it was no longer a struggle to keep my heart rate below the Zone 2 ceiling because a lot more effort was needed to get my heart rate up into the Zone 2 range. While it doesn't feel hard in the intensity sense, it does become a lot more demanding in terms of workload. That's because the stimulus of Zone 2 isn't linear. As your cardiovascular system adapts, your heart becomes more efficient. It pumps more blood with each beat, so it doesn't need to beat as fast to deliver the same amount of oxygen. Well, that's great in terms of fitness gains, but now that your cardiovascular system has become stronger, it also means that your body needs more mechanical force or output to generate the same training effect. The muscles in your legs have to work harder to achieve the same cardiovascular load. So even though you're not gasping for air and your heart rate is in your Zone 2 range, your legs might still feel sore or fatigue afterwards. While it's a sign that your fitness is improving, Zone 2 training actually gets harder the fitter you become. Secret 2. Consistency beats intensity. I used to think that pushing hard a few times a week was a key to getting fitter, but running 5,000 kilometers in Zone 2 taught me something completely different. It was the slow, steady miles repeated day after day that built what no single workout could ever: a solid habit and a lasting foundation. A lot of people might struggle with the motivation to run consistently, but what I've realized is that willpower is only needed at the beginning, just to get things going. Once running became part of my routine, I didn't have to think about it anymore. It stopped being a decision, and neither willpower nor determination was needed to get me out the door. It just became something I did. In fact, on days that I couldn't run, something felt off. Zone 2 running grew into becoming something sort of an anchor for me, purely because it was so sustainable. I could show up every morning even when I was tired or mentally drained. So I let go of trying to make every session count and started relying on the momentum of simply showing up consistently. What eventually made the biggest difference in my fitness was the stacking of all those over time. Secret 3. It builds the best foundation you'll never brag about. Zone 2 doesn't make for impressive social media posts. It's not sexy, but it's the foundation that supports everything else. It builds your aerobic engine that supports every other kind of effort. Without it, high-intensity work doesn't have a stable foundation to rest on. Well, think of it as a pyramid with Zone 2 as the base of the pyramid. Wide, stable, and essential. The harder high-intensity efforts sits at the top. The larger and stronger the base, the more you can stack on top without everything toppling over. But if the base is too small and you try to pile on too much speed work at the top, it becomes an upside-down pyramid, unstable and bound to collapse. After months of running in Zone 2, I realized that I was building a robust aerobic engine. Not just the ability to run far, but to run efficiently, economically, and with less strain. That low-intensity aerobic volume toughened up my system, from my connective tissue to my muscles, my heart, and my mitochondria. It gave me the durability to train consistently, which was what made the biggest difference in the long run. And when I did run hard, I felt like I had more in the tank. Zone 2 didn't make me faster directly, but it made my overall fitness way more robust. Secret 4. Gains are invisible until they're not. One of the biggest misunderstandings seems to be the belief that Zone 2 training will deliver quick results, and when progress doesn't come fast, people give up. But Zone 2 isn't a hack. It's a long game, especially if you're in your 40s. I see people in their 20s online talking about big improvements in their Zone 2 pace after a couple of months. And because I was 44 when I started running in Zone 2, I saw no results for a long stretch of time and wondered if something was wrong with me. I saw no change at all in the first 6 months. My pace barely improved. Then slowly, around 7 to 8 months in, I suddenly noticed that I was holding my old pace at a lower heart rate. What used to be 7 minutes per kilometer at 135 beats per minute became 6:30, then 6 minutes, and gradually even faster. Now, 5,000 kilometers later, I can comfortably hold a pace that's between 515 to 545 per kilometer at that heart rate. It does vary from day to day because many factors like sleep, caffeine intake, stress, fatigue, and the weather all play a role, but the long-term progress is undeniable. Before we go on to the next secret, I have a question for you. Are you thinking about committing to Zone 2 training, or are you already deep in it and wondering if it works? Let me know where you are in your journey by dropping a comment below. I would really love to hear from you. Secret 5. It exposes your weaknesses. When you run slow, you notice more because there's no adrenaline to mask poor form or inefficiencies. It gave me the opportunity to notice when my form was breaking down, and I was able to pick up early signs of niggles before they became full-blown injuries. These were things I didn't notice when I was running hard. The slower pace gave me the space to be mindful and fix them. I feel that 5,000 kilometers of running in Zone 2 helped me to run smoother with much better form, and that carried over into high intensity workouts. Secret 6 is not junk miles, it's quality through accumulation. There's a myth that Zone 2 is easy junk miles, but over the 5,000 kilometers that I ran in Zone 2, I learned just how wrong that idea was. The volume of mileage at a low intensity built efficiency in my running stride, muscular and joint resilience, as well as aerobic depth. The quality isn't in each individual session, but it's in how they stack up. This is fitness that you build over months and even years, not days. And I would be remiss if I didn't emphasize that progress didn't always come in a straight line. Sometimes it felt that I was plateauing, even regressing. Then out of nowhere, I noticed a sudden jump in fitness. The overall trend is upwards, but the path is anything but linear. Secret 7. Zone 2 doesn't replace speed work. Here's the truth. Zone 2 is not the holy grail. It's foundational, but it's not the whole picture. If you want to run a faster park run, 10K, half or full marathon, you still need high intensity workouts. To race fast, you still have to train fast. Things like tempo runs, mile repeats, intervals are all needed to build speed. Not only that, adding these high intensity workouts to your training plan also have a significant positive impact on your Zone 2 pace. I made the mistake thinking that if I accumulated a lot of volume in Zone 2, my Zone 2 running pace would eventually get a lot faster, and that's what I did. Well, to a certain extent I wasn't totally wrong, but if all I did was run at my Zone 2 pace, that progress would be very slow. Over an entire autumn, winter and spring season, I only ran in Zone 2. During that time, my Zone 2 pace only improved very slightly, but when summer came around and I started adding in tempo runs and intervals to get ready for an upcoming marathon, that was when I saw the biggest jump in my Zone 2 running pace, and it all happened within a span of less than 6 weeks. Basically, what Zone 2 gives you is the ability to handle those workouts better. As long as you maintain a strong base, those quality sessions had more impact. It isn't either or, it's both in balance. Zone 2 builds your base, but it wouldn't do the full job if your goals include performance. So here's the key. High intensity workouts work so much better if you build your base first. Once you layer faster sessions onto a solid Zone 2 foundation, progress comes very quickly. Secret 8. Long to build, long to lose. I mentioned earlier that training consistently in Zone 2 is fitness that you build over months and even years, not days. Progress can seem mind-numbingly slow, and because it's gained so gradually, it's also lost very slowly. That's one of the most reassuring parts of this kind of training. It builds a deep, resilient foundation that doesn't just disappear after a short break. That's great because there were times when life got in the way. For example, travel, work, illness, and running injuries that occasionally left me unable to train for a couple of weeks in a row. I expected to lose all my fitness gains, but when I returned, my heart rate was still steady and my endurance hadn't vanished. The pace might have dipped a little, but the base was still there. That base, built through thousands of slow miles, had a kind of staying power, and it could be built upon season after season. Yes, Zone 2 fitness takes a long time to build, but once there, it's yours. And that makes it one of the most rewarding investments I've made in my running. Secret 9. Benefits go beyond running. The benefits of Zone 2 bled into everything else in my life. I started to notice changes far beyond my running. My mind feels clearer and easier to focus, more calm when things got stressful, and my overall mood improved. Likely thanks to the endocannabinoids, which are the neurochemicals behind what's often called the runner's high. I also got pretty lean, and at 46 years old, that's a very welcome side effect. That said, the biggest benefit outside of running from Zone 2 training was my sleep. I started falling asleep so much faster. It feels like my lights were out within minutes of lying in bed, and I wake up actually feeling very well rested. So apart from making me a better runner, consistently spending time in that low intensity zone 2 made me feel a lot better. Secret 10. It'll make you fall in love with running. I hated running before because it hurt every time I ran, but without the pressure to push hard, running in zone 2 became more enjoyable and it was very mentally relaxing to me. I could notice my breath, my surroundings, and I enjoy feeling my body in motion while watching the sunrise and listening to birds. Some of my clearest thinking happened on those runs. It was both calming and meditative, and in a world that's always rushing, that kind of stillness was immensely gratifying. I didn't expect it, but the simplicity of zone 2 made me fall in love with running. So that's what 5,000 kilometers of zone 2 running in my late 40s taught me. It's not flashy, but it's powerful and it works. I hope this video gave you some reassurance in trusting the process. But before you click off, let me know if you're getting value from this video by hitting the like and subscribe buttons below. That would really help to prompt the YouTube algorithm to share this video with more people who might benefit from it. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.